Hello there! If you would like to know my 5 top frugal tips that help your wallet, help the environment, and help simplify your life, you may want to keep watching because I'll show you what those 5 things are right now. Hello YouTube friends, a very warm welcome back to Simple Essentials. If you're new here, my name is Emmy, and in this channel I cover all sorts of content to simplify your life, whether that be budget, meal planning, life organization, and in coming videos you'll actually see a bit more on the travel category as well, so stay tuned for that. If you like that kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you as a subscriber. And I want to say a very warm welcome to the new subscribers that have joined in the last little while. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I really value your comments and likes, so thank you so much. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you my 5 top frugal tips that also happen to be quite environmentally friendly. And these are tips that I live by very much in my day-to-day life, and my partner does as well. And it's something that's helped us save a lot of money, but more than that, it's helped me feel like my life is streamlined and simple, and it's removed a lot of clutter, noise, and messes in my life and in our life. So if you're keen to know what they are, let's dive right in. The first one might sound a bit counterintuitive, but it's to buy quality items. So I no longer buy really cheap clothing or really cheap shoes or really cheap technology, because unfortunately I have found in my life when I've gone through phases where I buy my clothes at like a H&M or something like that, they just don't last. I mean, I wash most of my clothes, for example, in cold water because it is better for them and it is better for the environment as well. But nevertheless, if you have cheaper clothing, for example, it simply won't last as long. As a good example, I bought an outdoor jacket that is sort of a rainproof jacket from Kathmandu. I have no affiliation with that brand, but I bought that and it had an inner fleece lining to it as well. That jacket probably cost me $250 Australian, but I had that jacket for almost 10 years and it came with me on so many things, and eventually it was worn out because I'd worn it so much and all that kind of stuff. So buy quality things. And on this note as well, I would really recommend that you look out for what it is that you want. For example, when I bought the very camera I'm filming this with, I knew the type of camera I was looking for. I will actually link the camera below if you happen to be curious about the equipment that I use to film these videos. But I knew what I wanted and I kept a lookout on a sale, and I actually did find it online at a lower price, but then one of my stores near me, technology stores, they actually price matched. So I called them up and I said, I've found it online at this price, will you be willing to match it, and then I can come and collect it today? And they did. So buy quality things, they will last you way longer, and this goes for a range of things in life. I appreciate sometimes in life we can't afford to, we simply don't have the savings or the money, but if you can, try to save up a little bit longer, buy a quality item and use that for a longer period of time if you can. So that's tip number 1. The second one for me, and this is not possible everywhere in the world, but it is to ride a bike if you can. Now, some people cycle for exercise mostly, and I'm one of those people who love to cycle, so I actually have 2 bikes. But you certainly do not have to have 2 bikes. I have one that is a road bike, which I use mostly for exercise and long distances when I go out cycling with my friends as a social exercise activity. But I also have a commuter bike, and growing up in Sweden where I grew up, riding your bike was really, really common, and even something I did at university, and it certainly is something that I still do today. I've actually just started a new job just around the corner from where I live, and it's a half-hour walk or 40-minute walk versus a 10-minute bike ride. So I can get to work really simply and easily. I don't even have to change clothes or shower to ride a 10-minute bike ride. So you might think, well, Emmy, buying a bicycle obviously costs a bit of money, and yes it does, but you do not need to buy a $1,000 bike to start cycling. Obviously as well, it will depend on where you live, how many bike paths are available, or how safe the roads are to ride on. But it is an amazing thing to use a bicycle for grocery shopping. For years and years, I did not have a car. I did all my grocery shopping when I lived by myself on my bike with a little basket and a backpack, and it worked beautifully. I appreciate if you have a big family, you might need a big trolley on the back, but it's totally up to you how you do this. But riding a bike is good for your health, it's good for your wallet, and you can pick up a secondhand bike on something like Gumtree, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace for very, very cheap. And it's also a great activity to do socially with your friends and family. Quite often my partner and I will hop on our bikes and ride down to a park nearby and have a little picnic or something like that. So riding a bike saves you money, it saves the environment, and it's actually a lot of fun too, or at least I think so. The third one, which is kind of related to the bike riding, is to do home workouts. Now, this is not for everyone. Some people like going to a gym to get their exercise in, and kind of paying that money every month or every week keeps you accountable. I personally have never been a huge fan of gyms. I used to do group classes, both indoor and outdoor, when I was younger, but I also found that I'm the kind of person who actually likes exercising in my home, or going for runs or going for bike rides, further to the previous point. But I have found, especially during the year that 2020 and 2021 so far for many people in the world has meant a lot of restrictions. And that means that working out at home is a great option, and it doesn't have to cost anything. Now, there are apps out there that you can download for free. There are apps or exercise programs that you can purchase. I'm going to link one of my absolute favorite channels below, which has a lot of workouts that you can do at home with no equipment at all. And just for the sake of it, I'll actually insert some footage here of what my living room looks like when I do exercise at home. It's nothing fancy. I don't even have any weights or any rubber band or resistance, things like that. But what I have invested in is a really good yoga mat, which I will also link below if you're interested in getting one for yourself. You can pick up a really cheap yoga mat from, a department store or Kmart or Big W or any store of that kind. They do not have to cost much at all. So that's how easily you can set up a home gym or a home exercise situation. And the great thing about this as well, if you're struggling with accountability, is that you can actually have friends that you kind of have accountability with. Even if you don't live together with them, you can even dial them up on video call and do your workout together if you need some accountability. And the best thing about it is, here on YouTube there are endless channels with free workouts. So if you want to do a standing ab routine because you hate doing crunches on the ground, I guarantee you, if you pause this video and Google that right now here on YouTube, you will find abundance of videos with exactly that. So it saves the environment as well, because you're not traveling anywhere, you're not going anywhere to do this exercise. So if you want to give it a go and set up a little training plan for yourself, I do this 3 days a week from home and it works really well for me. But make sure that you have some accountability and that you write it down. But you will save tons of money doing this, I promise you. Tip number 4 is getting some good containers, wraps, bags, seals for your food. I have done a lot of videos on food preparation. I will link one of them up here, but I will also link the meal prep category as a playlist below. But what I find is that, first of all, by meal planning, you're not wasting food, but you do need decent storage containers so that things like your soups and your salads and your meal prepping stays fresh and good in the fridge. And also make sure that you're using proper bags if you are freezing things, because otherwise your things or your meats or whatever it is will get freezer burn and they won't last as long in the freezer. So by having the right type of containers and wraps and things like that, whether it's fresh or frozen food, you will save yourself a lot of money in the long run. I have linked some of my favorite products that I actively use below, and they are super helpful, and it will keep your food fresh for longer and will help you waste a lot less, which is good for your wallet and for the environment. And my final favorite tips, which is one for all the ladies out there, is to use a menstrual cup instead of using tampons or pads. Now, this is an interesting one, and it's obviously a very personal choice for you. For some people, it simply doesn't work to use it. I had this perception before I started using mine about 3 or 4 years ago now, that it was going to be really messy, really uncomfortable, really difficult to use. And look, I will say it probably takes a little bit of getting used to, but it has been worth it. Now you might go, well, Emmy, a menstrual cup is not a frugal thing because it costs a little bit to buy it. Your average one will cost between $30 and $50 or so. You can just look them up online. I have linked the one I have below if you're interested to find out the brand that I use. But essentially, they save you so much money, because if you look at tampons or pads that you would be using on a monthly basis, you add that up over 12 months, and then you see what that price is and how quickly a menstrual cup actually pays off. And not only that, you are wasting less, you're not putting tampons and pads into the garbage, which goes into landfill, so it is much better for the environment as well. I will say it takes a little while to get used to it, but I have actually found it way more comfortable than using other things. Now, I still use other products at times, you know, if I'm traveling and things like that, or having something in my handbag just in case my period comes when I'm not ready for it to. But using a menstrual cup is a big environmental saver and a big money saver, at least over 1 to 2 years. And they last usually for quite a few years if you look after them well. So there you go. Those are my 5 favorite frugal things that I live by, and I'd be really interested to hear from you what some of your frugal tips or frugal habits that you do that have really made a difference for you and your family and your circumstances. All the best for now, and make sure to tune in to the next video. Make sure to subscribe, because I've got some really exciting news to share with you guys, which will be coming up very soon. All the best until then, and I look forward to see you in my next video.